I hate to break this party up. However, I want to bring up most of your favorite, most of the folks in the room, your favorite word, Obamacare. And it's a question for both of you. Congressman Walsh, you said that you would repeal it. Ms. Duckworth, back in February in the Chicago Tribune, they quoted you as saying you didn't think Obamacare went far enough. Can you explain what you meant by that quote? And Congressman Walsh, can you tell me what your plans are with repeal?
Okay, let Ms. Duckworth lead off.
Absolutely. So the small business owners in my district have told me that they shouldn't even be in the business of providing health care. It does make them less competitive with businesses overseas. The biggest problem with Obamacare is the uncertainty. And Mr. Walsh, he says that he's not the status quo, yet he's voted 37 times to try to repeal Obamacare. That does not get us anywhere. What we need to do is have an honest discussion about the good parts and the bad parts with Obamacare. Number one, I think people like that children with pre-existing conditions are covered. I think seniors like that they're covered. Women like that they're not a pre-existing condition. There are many good things. Let's keep those. Let's fix the bad parts. I think that there are real problems with Obamacare. Businesses with low employee numbers and low profit margins, over 50 and low profit margins, are really at risk. So let's get to work. And I'm willing to work with anyone who wants to sit down with me and figure out a way to fix that. But the solution to solving Obamacare is not to have a 38th vote, because that just adds more uncertainty. Let's get to work, let's fix the parts that need to be fixed. Let's be honest that there are problems with it, but let's keep the things that are good. I do think that businesses need certainty. Businesses should not be in the business of providing health care, because it does make them less competitive. But what we need to do is get healthcare to people now. I don't think that we're going to have healthcare off the backs of businesses for decades and decades to come. The problem we have right now is businesses don't know what's going to happen because of the gridlock in Washington. Because folks like Mr. Walsh continue to talk about Obamacare, trying to repeal it, and it gets us nowhere.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh, you have a minute and 50 seconds to respond.
Okay, quickly, to correct the record, Ms. Duckworth, the House of Representatives voted twice to repeal all of Obamacare. Republicans and Democrats came together on a number of occasions to repeal and defund certain aspects, but we voted twice to repeal the whole thing. And
how many times did that aspects? 33,
some of those,
34, 35?
Some of those restaurant owners that you talked to, namely the owners of Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg, who you met with a couple weeks after I met with them, they were very clear that if Obamacare is not repealed, their business will close down. Tammy, you can't walk this back. You said repeatedly that Obamacare didn't go far enough. You believe in universal, government-run health care. I want you to this is what's tough about elections. Take pride in that stance. Believe in it. Look at your side. They love it. Believe in that. Don't just because you want to get elected in a month, don't try to moderate your position. You've said repeatedly. What we know is, the beautiful thing about Obamacare is, it's all right in front of us. Our job creators, the real people in this country that matter, tell us it's the #1 reason. The #1 reason why they're not hiring. We already know that the debt estimates now are 2 to 3 times what it was expected to cost. We already know that doctors are leaving the profession. We already know that private insurance is going to go belly up. Republicans and Democrats need to repeal Obamacare and come together.
Calm down. I think some of you missed it.
You do all matter.
Mr. Walsh, are you going to send Ms. Duckworth a bill for that free advice, or is that free advice? I don't know. Who said the moderator can't bring people together? Okay, now that we're all quiet and, sullen, Dick Kay, you've been quiet for a while.
I just want to follow up on that. I want to follow up on the issue of health care. I want to know, if you repeal Obamacare, what do you do with the 2 million people who are already taking advantage of Obamacare? What do you do with those people who have pre-existing conditions who would be kicked off if you repeal Obamacare? What do you do with all of those young men and women who are able to stay on the policy until...
Dick, he only has 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Well, I'm sorry, but this is an issue. What do you replace that with? And how do you tell them they are off the road?
Did you get the question, Congressman?
That's my question.
Okay.
What do you do?
Give him a chance, Dick. Give him a chance. You have a minute. How's this for that question? Let's raise the stake.
Who am I to say that I don't love the passion? I love the passion. Look, Dick Kay, there are 47 million uninsured people in this country. Now the latest estimates are that with Obamacare after 10 years, there'll be 30 million uninsured people in this country. What has that done for us? Do you know, Dick, that already most states and many corporations on their own have policies covering kids on their parents' plan until they're 26 or 29? Most states already have laws dealing with pre-existing conditions. We did not need to reinvent a sixth of this economy, remake a fifth of this economy to do things that have already been done. Republicans and Democrats can come together on patient-centered reforms, letting people buy insurance across state lines, tort reform, increasing programs like health savings accounts, where we actually put more Americans in charge of their own health care costs. And again, folks, we have 10,000 Americans retiring every day. We're now living until we're 92 and 3 and 4. That's a great thing. But this country, God love us, we're afraid to have a serious conversation about how to pay for all that. Tammy Duckworth's not going to have that conversation. If we let Medicare alone, let Medicare alone, it will wither up and die within 8 to 10 years. We can't let that happen.
Ms. Duckworth, you have 2 minutes to discuss that and respond.
Well, I think Mr. Walsh should be proud of the 37 votes that he voted to repeal Obamacare, not back away from it himself. Your side team seems to like that. And I did meet with Chicago Prime Steakhouse after you did, and they told me something not quite what you said, and perhaps when you were there, you just talked at them and didn't listen. What they said to me was this. They said that there's great uncertainty with Obamacare because of the gridlock in Washington, and they don't know if the law is going to be put into place and how, and if I could please work on that. They also said that because they have 53 or 54 employees, and they have a low profit margin, they will probably have to fire 3 or 4 people to get below that 50 employee mark, and that they did not want to do that. And could I please work on that? And I said, absolutely. I think that that is a legitimate point of a businessman who's saying, can you help me? Can you work across the aisle and fix the law so that businesses like mine are covered in some way so that it doesn't cost me more money, so that my employees are covered for health care? That's what they want. They don't want, they did not say, Tammy, please vote for a 38th time and create more uncertainty. What they said was, Tammy, I need you to get to work and find ways to get to work. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. Hey, Paul,
You only have 20 seconds to respond.
I have a wager for Miss Duckworth. Miss Duckworth, why don't you and I next week, this upcoming week, let's you and I together sit down with the owners of Chicago Prime Steakhouse and ask them, come on, let's ask them let's ask them up or down what they'd like to do with Obamacare. And if they don't tell you and I that they'd love to see Obamacare repealed, I will contribute $2,500 to your campaign. I'm actually serious.
Ms. Duckworth, 20 seconds to respond.
I think that you've seen classic Joe Walsh's grandstanding. And notice that he actually ignored the fact that he's voted 37 times against Obamacare. And then he is actually looking at one business, and he's actually putting words in the mouths of that business and say that they want us to have this thing. Look, we need to have real discussions about what needs to happen. And I'm not going to grandstand with you, Joe. I'm not going to grandstand with you because it's time. Let me finish. It's time for serious talk and serious action and not.
Damn it.